Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hello. How are you doing tonight? Welcome to my Jonny Scab presents the Judge Dredd A to Z. It's yeah. For those of you that are just tuning in, those of you that are fans of Judge Dredd, this will be very insightful to you, and also to those of you that aren't fans, you'll learn a lot. You'll learn a lot about the actual book. Well, the story of Judge Dredd and the lore behind it all. I'm going to be going in very, very in depth because there's a lot of this is basically an encyclopedia, right? It's a book by someone called Mike Butcher. You see the name up there, Mike Butcher, and it is everything Dredd. All right, I'm a big fan of Dredd, Judge Dredd. I've been a fan for a long time. I've got a lot of the annuals as well. There's ones like this. I collect these hardback annuals. This is 1985. This one. Yeah, I've got quite a few of them. So, but this kind of covers everything. From, as you can see, the classic artwork there. That's some old school Dredd artwork. Dredd always stood out to me when I got into comics. Just his whole presence is kind of like the story, the world he's set in, the kind of character he is. He's kind of like he's a fascist, isn't he, Judge Dredd? He's a fascist, a proud sort of low sort of abiding fascist, and that's his, and he's unapologetic about it as well. He is the law, right? And for those of you, a quick rundown, I suppose, for those of you that might not have heard of Judge Dredd. What's that? I've got something in the chat. Chat. The chat's going a bit weird. Yeah, for those of you that might not know much about Judge Dredd, I'll give you a quick rundown. There's basically you're in a sorry. Basically, Judge Dredd is kind of like a post-apocalyptic world, I guess you could say. Sort of like a bit Fallout-esque, maybe, for those of you that know about Fallout. Very similar. A bit Mad Maxy, almost. But the civilized parts, like basically, as an example, America, the world exists, right? All the different places in the world exists, but all the civilization's been ruined. So people have gathered to these like mega cities, right? Different little mega cities. Judge Dredd's called Mega City 1, which is I think it's like the equivalent of kind of New York or maybe California. I don't know, but it's a major US city, and each sort of mega city is kind of like its own country now, if you know what I mean, because all the rest of America outside of these cities are just wastelands, like mutants and all sorts, monsters, criminals. And you don't have normal police in this world. Inside the mega cities, you have these people called judges, which is Judge Dredd. They wear these helmets, wear armor, and they've got badges. And judges are extreme police, right? They're kind of like they're the judge, jury, and executioner. You don't really have courts in Judge Dredd's world. There's not really such a thing as a court, really. You'll have like a council of judges, the high up judges above Judge Dredd. But all the sentencing for criminals is kind of left to the judges on the streets. Like if you've done a minor crime, they'll get you taken away, put in prison or whatever. But if you've done something that's very serious, for instance, a murder or attempting to attack a judge, then you'll get sentenced to death on the spot, and they'll put you down like a dog. Basically, they are the law. And as you can see, I'm going to go into this book a bit more now. Something's going on with the chat on my end. It's saying that it's disconnected, but I'm not sure. I don't know. Something's weird. Well, I'm going to go into the book a bit more now. Successfully connected, it says. Oh, hello. Hello, Abu. I am the law. Dennis Rodriguez. I just saw your message. And Felix, Mr. Felix Smith. Hello, Felix. Your message has just popped up because my chat was disconnected. Yeah, so I'm going to be going into this a bit now, which is kind of like an encyclopedia, I guess, of everything in the Judge Dredd world, right? And this is a book by Mike Butcher. And it's very informative for those of you who want to know about it, about Judge Dredd. And here we've got colour codes, right? You've got colour codes for those two are quite similar. The people, the Justice Department, technical, artificial intelligence, non-human creatures, locations, events, and city life, right? So that's just breaking it down into smaller parts. And it goes into like almost a dictionary that tells you about everything, every sort of thing in alphabetical order. And first up, you've got a bloke. Some of you might know if you're Dredd fans. You've got a bloke called Aaron A. Aardvark, right? And I'll read you a bit about him now, right? He's a citizen in Mega City 1. When the mad chief judge, Cal, sentenced the entire population of Mega City 1 to death for the first time, he ordered the citizens to show up for execution in the order that they appeared in the Mega City 1 video phone directory, right? Incredibly, millions of them did. And the first in line was the number one named person in the book, in the phone book, Aaron A. Aardvark. Not surprisingly, Aaron, formerly Eric Plunkett, had changed his name to achieve this obvious honour, and he paid for it with his life. That's a strange one, isn't it? Aaron A. Aardvark. He's an obscure character. Someone who basically was the first man in the phone directory in Mega City 1. The first unlucky man, I guess. Next up, we got the Academy of Law, right? And all these little things are going to teach you a bit more about the world, right? The Academy of Law is a building. It's where the judges do their training, right? Training a judge takes 15 long, hard years. And many of the entrants to the Academy of Law never make it to the streets of Mega City 1 as a full judge. Cadets are either cloned from proven genetic stock, or they enter the academy at the age of 5 or under. They are then expected to learn the basics of law enforcement very quickly, and any failing during their rigorous training is likely to lead to expulsion. It is therefore quite some achievement for a cadet just to reach rookie judge status and to be given his or her half eagle and white helmet. That's basically a cadet. That's like a rookie. That's your rookie level, right? Cadet judges attend regular classes on all aspects of policing and controlling a 22nd century megalopolis. Both practical and mental skills are vital to their progress at the academy, so they are subjected to continual assessment by their judge tutors. The Academy of Law is a self-contained environment for prospective judges, affording them where to live, train both affording them somewhere to live, train both physically and mentally, and to be tested. Up to a point, cadet judges do, however, have to go outside in groups for their hot dog run. And of course, rookie judges must pass a final street test before they can graduate. So they got to go out on the street and actually catch some real criminals, right? Before you can graduate. Only when they have satisfied a serving judge that they can handle themselves on the streets of Mega City 1 can a rookie leave the academy with his or her black helmet and full eagle. That's basically the helmet and the badge, right? Helmets and badges and the eagle, full eagles. You got like shoulder pads. Look, so that's a little rundown on the judges, on how they train. Bad luck for Adam A. Aardvark, eh? I agree. Right, right. This is interesting, right? This is the side judge. This is a side judge, right? And I'll give you a little rundown to what side judges are. I don't know if any of you have played like Warhammer 40k. You get psychers, right? Like people that have got mental abilities, they can do stuff with their minds. That's basically what side judges are, right? They're psychers that have been put into this special division of judges, and this is just one of them. Kitty, his name is, or her name, Kitty. We'll find out more about them now. Already one of the side division's most sensitive operatives, Kitty had been working hard to enhance her abilities when she was overwhelmed by a powerful version of the Sisters of Death. The other dimensional creatures were using the mind of an unfortunate citizen called Xena Lothar to bridge the gap between that world and Mega City 1, where Agi tapped into their fearsome presence. As much as the apparition was disturbing to the judge, it was welcomed by the evil sisters, since they needed a much stronger mind to make their bridge permanent. Combining the strong will of a judge with her extremely powerful psi power, Kitty was the ideal candidate for the job. So they used the former Judda Kraken in their guise of Judge Dredd to lure her into a trap. So they disguise them. They disguise someone as Judge Dredd to lure this bird into a trap, right? Because every judge loves Dredd. They'll all trust Dredd, most of them. She was overpowered by him, under the sisters' control, and subjected to a massive psychic assault that she couldn't possibly resist, allowing the creatures to make their presence felt in Mega City 1. While the Sisters of Death were creating their necropolis, or the City of the Dead. Basically, right, just a little rundown on that. The Sisters of Death are kind of witches that live in Judge Dredd's world. They're like the Macbeth witches, right? The Sharon Eyeball, all that sort of thing, right? They're like a cult. They're building the City of the Dead. Yeah. When Sir Judge Anderson discovered this, Sir Judge Anderson is one of Judge Dredd's partners, right? Not romantically, but his colleagues, one of his better colleagues that he trusts. When Judge Anderson discovered this, she knew that killing her friend would be the only way to free the city. Despite the sister's best efforts to hide A-Z from her, Anderson managed to use her own powers to locate her, and Judge Dredd, and the real one this time, ordered a massive attack on the apartment in which she was being held. Thus, Sire Judge A-Z was released from her torment at last, and the sisters' hold on Mega City 1 was broken. See, they actually tell you a bit more about the comics that they are from as well. Underneath this small excerpts, little writing excerpts telling you more about it. Yeah, see, that was Sire Judge Kit A-Z. I hope you're enjoying it so far. I'm sorry if you're not interested in seeing my hands. Better than seeing my face, though, isn't it? Don't you agree? For those of you that noticed, I have set a little goal tonight up in the top of the screen. You got the goal that's set. If I get 5 super chats, I will review Mr. Bosch Falstin's Table for One, which I have. I think I've got to hand. Here it is. Mr. Bosch Falstin's Table for One. Right, I'll be reviewing that if I can get my super chat goal up together. I ordered that a while back now. I've been meaning to get through on it, with it, whatever. Right. We're going on to this now. Agrodome, right? The building, leisure complex, Mega City 1, right? The Agrodome. An attempt to cash in on the level of aggression seething through the city. The Agrodome was a specially designed environment where citizens could relieve their pent-up feelings of violence. In theory, everything that happened there would be so carefully controlled that there would be no danger to any of the clients. But things got out of hand. Encouraging violence proved to be a disastrous policy. Citizens started attacking each other and took the place apart before the judges could quell the riot and close the place down. It's basically got the Agrodome got taken over by gangs. Then basically taken over is like is a lost cause. Agro drug, ladies and gentlemen. We're going on to the agro drug now. Powerful, hallucinogenic, right? Hypnogenic. That circulates mainly through Mega City 1, right? Developed by the Mega City 1 Justice Department, the agro drug includes an overwhelming sense of menace in anyone under its influence and provokes terrifying and highly realistic hallucinations that could test the strength of even the strongest mind. Sort of like Scarecrow from Batman then. You know, like what Scarecrow got, like nightmare fuel sort of thing. Like nightmare gas. That's basically what the agro drug is, right? Hallucinations that could test even the strongest mind. In anticipation of future dangers likely to beset her city, according to the production of the Side Division, Chief Judge Magruder authorized the use of the drug on selected judges in order to toughen them up and prepare them for the crisis ahead. Right, so that's kind of like a Vietnam thing there, isn't it? Like testing drugs on your troops. You know what I mean? Like LSD on the troops. That's what they're doing to judges, right? They're doing that to judges with the agro drug. It's like a nightmare fuel, basically, like Scarecrow. I liked Scarecrow. He was one of my favourites in Batman. Next up, right, we got basically another world, right, in the Hadean system in deep space. Because remember, ladies and gentlemen, Judge Dredd is actually it's based in the future. It's future times. We've been to space. There are other planets and stuff like that. So it's a bit sci-fi as well. 2000 AD was, I'd say, probably mainly sci-fi, to be fair. It does do other things, but it really thrived. 2000 AD thrives in its sci-fi comics. And there are lesser comics that are based in the Judge Dredd universe, like the ABC Warriors and things like that. There's other offshoots, stories that overlap almost. Yeah, Argos. Home to the 12 separate warlike races, Argos is a scene of regular carnage, as its wars are controlled like sports events. Every day a war is organised on one of the planet's designated battlefields between at least two of the native races. Imported weapons of all varieties are used, thousands are killed, but each war is packaged carefully for television with expert communicators, referees, and even half-time breaks. Judges Dredd and Hershey visited Argos during their quest to find the Judge Child and unwittingly became participants, finding themselves classified as natural hazards. That's interesting. So there's a planet where they have wars, basically, to televise it. That sounds interesting, doesn't it? Hello, Christopher. How you doing, mate? Thank you for tuning in. Don't often see you in here, but I appreciate it. Yeah, we're going through the Judge Dredd Compendium, the A to Z of Judge Dredd by Mike Butcher, and so far we're up to Argos, which is as you just heard. Yeah, this Judge Dredd's world is very sci-fi and psychedelic. All right, it's a hard one to describe. I'd say maybe Mad Max, Fallout, Total Recall, kind of bit of everything really. It's the ultimate kind of sci-fi. We're going on to the next page now. Right. Next we've got the Alien Catcher General, right? Well, this sounds interesting, doesn't it? Alien Catcher General, right? One of the most feared denizens of the cursed earth. The cursed earth, right? Just so you know, when they mention the cursed earth, that is everything that's outside of the cities, right? Like the wastelands that are outside of the mega cities. They call it cursed earth. The alien catcher general's job was to recapture any alien slave that escaped their human masters, along with his sleigh riders, a vicious band of mutant marauders. He saw that the off-worlders were returned to captivity or killed as an example to any other enslaved aliens. Whilst tracking down the alien Tweak, the alien catcher general came up against Judge Dredd, who prevented him from killing the innocent and highly intelligent alien. That's the thing. Judge Dredd is kind of totally by the law. Like, he doesn't like to see anyone get killed or anything. So, yeah, sometimes that can be a bad thing. Sometimes that can be a good thing. But he is by the book 100%. Good evening, Mr. Smith, Felix Smith. Good to see you, sir. Glad you could tune in. Just check my chat. My chat's going live a minute because it was going a bit funny earlier. Yeah, seems to be all right. Right. Thank you for tuning in so far, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Judge Dredd A to Z. Right, alien seeds. I'm going to go for alien seeds next, ladies and gentlemen. A peculiar fusion of plant and animal. Alien seeds were released in Megacity 1 in their thousands during one of the city's most damaging crazes. They seemed innocuous, small creatures grown from seeds, but they just got bigger and bigger. And as they grew, they became hungry and sometimes dangerous animals. The alien creatures soon became a menace, and the Justice Department was forced to act. This distribution and ownership, the distribution and ownership of alien seeds was quickly outlawed, but a few of them are believed to have survived in the back alleys of Mega City One. Right. So alien again. This is a sci-fi world, so there are aliens mixing with humans, and there's cyborgs and AI, all sorts. Hell, Abu. Yeah, and so there's things that have been outlawed as well in this world, and if you're caught breaking these laws, you will quite likely get shot by judges. All right, judges don't fuck about. Next up, we got the Alien Zoo. Right, the Alien Zoo. There's a little bit of artwork there for you. Lady Liberty. It's like a Lady Liberty type picture. Mega City One freedom fighter, America Jara. That's her name. She's a character. She's a Mega City One freedom fighter called. There's her name up there. Look, America Jara. There's a bit about her there. We'll read her next. Right, Alien Zoo. Containing examples of alien species from all over the universe, the Alien Zoo is one of Mega City One's most popular attractions, housing such weird and wonderful creatures as the Wurlitz Wolflebeast, the duck-billed Yabba Dabba, and the Anetarian Tinity. The zoo is a showcase for creatures which Earth people would be unlikely to ever see in their home environments, although intergalactic conventions mean that only aliens classified as having extremely low intelligence can be kept in captivity in the zoo of this kind. Right. So yeah, if you're kind of an intelligent alien in Judge Dredd's world, you've got some rights. You've got a few rights, so you're not kept in a zoo, basically. Right, we'll just read about America Jara. This lady here, wrapped up in the stars and stripes. What a beautiful flag, by the way. Always one of my favourite flags. America Jara. She's a freedom fighter, right? When America's parents came to Mega City One, they named their daughter after their new country. Having seen the way the judges acted at a very young age, America Jara had none of the illusions of her parents and reacted against the oppression of the Justice Department. So she turned into Antifa, basically, right? She's Antifa. She went on the Democratic March with her boyfriend, but he was killed and she was arrested. Yeah, actually noticing it now, look, it looks like she got blue hair. That makes sense. Purple hair. Right. Right, her husband, her boyfriend, right? She was arrested and he was killed. When released, America fell in with Total War, a democratic pressure group believing in extreme action, and she soon had the blood of 4 judges on her hands. During a Total War setup, she crossed paths with Bennett Beanie, a childhood friend, who witnessed the killing of a judge. Bennett was shot in the throat and left by America's associates to die, but she was horrified and went back to see him. She asked Beanie for money to buy her explosives to blow up the Statue of Liberty, but he was troubled by her plan. He gave her the money, but informed the judges, and America was shot in an ambush. Pronounced dead on arrival at the hospital, her body survived intact, but Beanie arranged for a full body transplant and had his own brain put into her otherwise healthy body. That's creepy, isn't it? Late Beanie took her body, and he was a bloke. That was weird. Thank you for tuning in so far, ladies and gentlemen. What's that? Hansel Hauser. How you doing, Hansel Hauser? Face green, smiling. A greeny smiley face. I hope you're enjoying it so far, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a lot to get through. It might even have to be done in 2 or 3 shows, but we'll see how we go, all right? We'll see how we go. We're making pace. I'm just going to have a little bit of my relaxation aid, all right? And we'll carry on. If you've got any questions so far about Judge Dredd, feel free to ask. Right now's your moment. We'll have 2 or 3 minutes of Q&A. Right, because I know quite a lot about this already, mind. I'm quite a fan myself. So if you've got any like theory questions you want to ask, shoot away. Thank you for tuning in. We are half hour into the show so far, and we've learned quite a bit, I'd say, about certain characters, places, things. I don't like America Jara. Cool character, I guess. If you're like a lefty, she's good for the lefties, isn't she? She's like Antifa. But yeah, Judge Dredd's got things like that. It's realistic. It's not all like, well, obviously you've got criminals and all sorts of gangs as well in Judge Dredd. Some of you may have seen the movies. Sylvester Stallone, and you've got a new one, ain't you? A newer one with Carl Urban. What I will say as a fan is the Carl Urban one is much closer to the comics. Really, it's dark and gritty. But I would say that the Sylvester Stallone one is good for the franchise. It's kind of like, sort of like what Tim Burton done with Batman, I'd say. The Sylvester Stallone one's kind of a mashup of all the sort of villains. They try to do a lot into one film. And it works. It's comical. It's like a funny film, cheesy, but it's not true to the comics in that respect. They've pushed a lot of stuff in together, and they missed out. Both of the films have missed out one of the greatest villains of Judge Dredd, in my view, anyway, which is Judge Death, and the other judges of the apocalypse, which we'll probably learn about in a bit. Right, next up, ladies and gentlemen, we got Angkor, right? This is a city, right? Angkor, a leisure city, right? Angkor, the dead in life. Look, sorry. The Angkor is a monster in Luxor City. Discovered the method whereby his physical body could survive beyond his death in ancient Egypt. When he was discovered by Luxor City Judge Kuman in 2115, having rested for 3,000 years in a state between life and death, the time had come for Angkor to be reborn and take his place as the god king of the new dynasty in the world. Kamun pledged allegiance to him, some dodgy judge this is, and helped him to absorb the Ka, the genetic essence of a number of judges to make him strong. Angkor's influence grew, but he needed the genes of one last victim to make him all-powerful, a victim with a DNA strand of the highest quality who was visiting Egypt as part of a cultural exchange, Judge Dredd. Not surprisingly, when served up as food for the Egyptian god king, Dredd proved extremely unpalatable, and he finally killed off the creature, who could not be killed by putting him through the Luxor version of Renike, and Angkor was shredded beyond even his powers of recovery. Right, so Judge Dredd basically did him. He done him. Right, next up, this is interesting, right? Next up, we got anti-mugging suits, right? Anti-mugging suits. These are really interesting. When anti-mugging suits, with their fully automated and personal weapons systems, were first introduced into Mega City 1, they were adjudged to be dangerous, too dangerous to be used by the citizens, and the judges banned them. However, the guard of Pedafrasco convinced Chief Judge Magruder that the suits, whilst they were dangerous, were essentially a defensive weapon and considerably better than the alternatives being offered to the citizens in the name of personal security. Yeah, the guard OPED, right? They got anti-mugging suits. The Apocalypse Monument, a monument tribute to those who were lost in the Apocalypse War of Mega City 1. Above memorial for 4 million. Look, there's the memorial of the Apocalypse. It's kind of like a mushroom cloud. Look, it's a mushroom cloud statue. Following the Apocalypse War against East Meg 1, 65% of Mega City 1 was left in ruins, and casualties ran to some 400 million people. So work units were formed to begin the long rebuilding process. The first priority of these work units was to construct a massive mushroom cloud monument as a tribute to all the judges and citizens who died during the war. It's quite sweet, isn't it? It's touching. Very touching. The next one's fun. The Ape Gang. You'll like these. I like the Ape Gang. The Ape Gang. They're interesting. Led by Don Uggy Apollino, right? They're like gangsters. They're sort of based on gangsters, right? On like 1920 gangsters, but they're sort of monkey men, right? Like the clever ones in Planet of the Apes. The Ape Gang consists of highly intelligent apes with the power of speech. The Ape Gang operated in an area known as the Jungle, modelling itself on the gangster mobs of the 1930s. When a massive gang war broke out, the judges stepped in to end the violence, and the leading members of the gang were arrested. They were confident, however, that they would go free, since they were exempt from the law. But they reckoned without the 1987 Animal Nuisance Act, so they were packed off to serve their time in the Mega City Zoo. They got put in a zoo instead of a prison. Basically, the Ape Gang. That's a piss take, isn't it? Put in a zoo instead of a prison. And there's a picture of Judge Dredd fighting Angkor there. Going back to Angkor. Look. Quite good artwork, isn't it? Some zombie guy. He's like a mummy. Right, Ape Gang. We're still in the A's. We're still in the A's, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, nice bit of artwork here. This is Judge Cassandra Anderson. Right, this is the one I was talking about. She's like one of Judge Dredd's judge sort of colleagues, right? This isn't the one that he goes out with though. Like there's another judge called Hershey, and she kind of has sort of a romance with Judge Dredd. This one's just his colleague, but they get on really well. And this is just telling you a lot about her. I'm not going to read all of that because that's all just about Cassandra Anderson. And if you want to look into her, you can look her up yourself. She's a good character, all right? Very interesting character. One of the best side judges in Mega City 1. One of my favourites next which you would have seen in the Sylvester Stallone installment of the movie of Dredd. The Angel Gang, right? And these are brilliant villains, right? The Angel Gang. They're brilliant. They've got, as you can see, they've got a whole page just about them. And I am going to read theirs out because it's not as long, and I like the Angel Gang. All right, just give me a minute. Give me a minute. Anyone in the chat? All great names, Felix Smith says. Yeah, all great names. There's always one. Anyone in the chat seen the movies? Do you have a favourite? Do you prefer the Sylvester Stallone movie or the Carl Urban movie with Lena Headey? She plays a very good villain in that, to be fair. Mama, or whatever they call her. It's a very good take, I think, on Mega City. The way it's kind of set inside the tower block. So none of you seen the movies, and none of you got a favourite. Allow us to continue. Oh, what's that? Basilisk. Hello, Basilisk. How you doing, mate? All right. Urban's a better movie, but I love the ABC Warrior. Yeah, the ABC Warrior was done really well, to be fair. Considering it wasn't sort of the time where they had really amazing graphics, it was kind of like an animatronic thing, wasn't it? It was done well, done really well. Well, let's get on to the Angel Gang, right? Because they're quite key villains. What's that? Wolf and Bear. How you doing, Wolf and Bear? The new one is great. Been meaning to watch the old one again because I don't remember it that well. Yeah, it's worth a watch again. I'd say, like I said, it's very much like what Tim Burton done with the Batmans. It's kind of lots of Dredd stories amalgamated into one, whatever you call it, all mashed up into one. He might have tried putting too many villains in there and stuff, but it's a fun watch. Let's get to the Angel Gang. Hello, Farley. How you doing, mate? The most infamous and feared band of thugs ever to come out of Texas City, right? Texas City is another mega city, but down in Texas, obviously. The Angel Gang were responsible for a near endless string of crimes with one overriding common factor. They were all quite unnecessarily violent, right? They're meant to be psychopaths, right? The Angels. They're like inbred hillbilly psychopaths. Great cloudy day. How you doing, brother? Stream sniping you. I will get off in a minute. Yeah, do whatever you want, mate. Have you ever drawn any of Lon Chaney faces? Of the Lon Chaney? I'm not sure. No, I don't think I have. Yeah, the Angel Brothers gang. They're kind of like psychopathic cannibals, really, who claim to be Christian. They're like extreme. They use Christianity as a cover, right? Never ones to commit a murder when a vile atrocity would do. The Angels were led by Elmer Parr Angel, and comprised of three of his sons. Right, he got his Elmer Angel, and his sons Link, Mean Machine, and Junior. Their most audacious act was the kidnap of Owen Chrysler, the so-called Judge Child, although they were forced to flee into space to avoid the attentions of Judge Dredd, who was pursuing the boy. The value of the child, who could see and perhaps even influence the future, he's a psychic who could look into the future, was obvious. But the Angel Gang had to travel a long way before they could find a way to turn a decent profit from his capture. They finally arrived on the planet Xanadu, where a mysterious and dangerous robot called the Grunswalder ruled over his own independent kingdom. Power Angel was keen to do a deal with the robot, hoping to exchange Owen Chrysler for considerable riches, as well as protection from the Mega City 1 judges. However, Dredd caught up with the Angel gang on Xanadu, and he was prepared to kill them all in his quest for the Judge Child. Link was the first to fall, followed by Mean Machine, then Junior, finally Pa. By this time, the Judge returned to Earth. Only one angel was left alive, Fink, the loner of the family, Pa's eldest son. Never a true member of Pa's gang, but he was mighty angry when news came about his whole family in the cursed earth that had been destroyed, and now he was an only child. Oh, right, yeah, that's a little spoiler there, ladies and gentlemen. There's going to be a few spoilers in here, yeah, obviously, because it's talking about the whole stories of Judge Dredd. I have a collection of the early strips. Yeah, I've got quite a lot of them as well. Grey Cloud. I love Dredd. I've got some of them. I think mine are locked away in my metal box at the minute with all my Comicsgate comics. Yeah, they're like really thin papered magazine ones, the old, really old ones from like when they first came out. Love you too, Grey Cloud. Love you all for tuning in. Anyone who's tuned in, I love you. Even if you hate me, I love you. The kind of guy I am. Right. So that's the Angel gang, ladies and gentlemen. They're quite portrayed quite well in the Stallone movie, I'd say. Mean Machine is actually, yeah, as you see him in the Stallone movie, he's kind of bionic. He's got implants, and he's like half man, half android, I guess. And they can set him to different levels of fighting levels and stuff. Excuse me if there's little gaps of silence. I'm just having a little break, and I've been talking a long time. We're 47 minutes in now, ladies and gentlemen, almost an hour, and we've gone through about 4 pages. But I'm glad I can entertain you. And I've got my goal as well, ladies and gentlemen, up in the top. I've set a goal tonight. If I can get 5 super chats of any value, not bothered what value, if I get 5 super chats, then I will do a review of Mr. Bush Fulston's Table for One. All right, this little beauty here, which I picked up off of eBay actually for a bargain, and it's in almost mint condition, right? Except for that little corner there. That little corner, you see it on the front? Slightly bent. Apart from that, it's beautiful. It's in mint condition. Apart from that little cover, little bent corner, which I'm a little bit gutted about. But that's why I got it cheap. So it's kind of, you win some, you lose some, don't you? I got it quite cheap, which I'm pleased with. Because I argued, I said, well, it's got a little dented corner. Can't be worth that much, can it? I had to argue, you've got to barter in life. Hit me up when you're done. Check your DMs. Yeah, I will, mate. I will. I can't. I'm not looking on X at the moment. This is quite mentally involving. Right, next up, ladies and gentlemen, we got the Apocalypse Squad. Right, they are judges. They're an elite judge unit. Right, formed to carry out a last-ditch attempt to end the Apocalypse War by destroying East Meg 1. East Meg 1 is East Mega City 1, right? It's part of the city, right? The Apocalypse Squad was an elite group led by Judge Dredd, accompanied by 8 other judges: Quan, Ox, Anderson, Hershey, Costa, McDonald, Hamble, and Morant. Dredd first set out to capture a Sov Strato V assault craft, which was moored in his city during a terrible hurricane. They captured the craft successfully and headed for the East Meg 1, infiltrating one of the missile silos just outside the city. The Soviet judges manning the Vostok 7 silo never knew that what hit them, as the Apocalypse Squad used the element of surprise to take control of their missiles, retargeting them on East Meg 1. Judge Dredd ordered a full-scale assault with one simple intention: the city's complete annihilation. With just 14 seconds to marshal their defences, the Soviet bloc's first city had no chance of survival, and over 500 million people were wiped out in minutes. Dredd and his comrades had no choice but to give themselves up to the Soviets in the wake of their actions, but the damage to their attackers was done. The East Meg 1 invaders in Mega City 1 lost their will to fight, and Judge Dredd was soon released so that he could kill War Marshal Kazan and accept the Soviet forces' unconditional surrender. That's an interesting thing as well. You get almost like communist judges as well. As like I said, the world still exists in Judge Dredd, so there are other sort of mega cities around the world. You've got Honda City, which is like Japan, right? It's called Honda City, and they got judges as well. Honda City judges. You've got England as well, Britain. It's called Brit City, I think. I think it's that simple. Brit City. Yeah, you've got a version of England as well with judges. We got our own judges, and they're a bit different. Their uniforms vary and stuff like that. Weaponry. Most judges use a sidearm called a lawgiver. And they're sort of like programmed to them. So if someone else picked it up and tried firing it, as you see in the films, it'll fuck them up. It'll electrocute them or blow their hand off or something. The Apocalypse Squad. So yeah, they're like the elite sort of judges, I guess. The Apocalypse Warp, right? This is a force field in East Meg 1. The Apocalypse Warp. Enveloped by some of the block's top tech judges, the Apocalypse Warp enabled the defense force of East Meg 1 to protect itself almost completely from Meg City 1's retaliation during the Apocalypse War. To maintain such a large shield effectively required an awesome amount of power. The force field worked by actually warping the Mega City 1's oncoming nuclear missiles into a parallel dimension, saving East Meg 1 at the cost of millions of lives on some previously undiscovered alternate Earth. Oh, right. The arachnid gene virus. That sounds horrible, doesn't it? Let's read about that. The arachnid gene virus. Thank you for tuning in so far, ladies and gentlemen, and all that are in between. This is Jonny Scab's A to Z of Judge Dredd. We're getting quite far into the A's now, right? We're on the arachnid gene virus. An extremely rare virus, AGV, or the arachnid gene virus, attacks its victims' genes directly, rearranging their structure into something resembling a genetic makeup of a spider. If caught very early on, it is possible to burn the virus out of any affected area of the human body, but it takes hold of the major organs very quickly and soon becomes inoperable, manifesting itself slowly. AGV first causes unsightly hair to form on the victim's body and gradually alters their posture. Mental processes are affected next, and the sufferer begins to realize they are not fully human. Eventually, the entire body shape is changed, and the victim's limbs become arachnid in nature. Any citizen of Megacity 1 unfortunate enough to contract this disease has one added indignity to bear. Incurable AGV is classified as a genetic abnormity under the terms of the Mutant Segregation Act. So any sufferer is liable to be exiled from the city by compulsory order of the Justice Department. It is common for the AGV victims to seek any means of remaining in the city, even if this requires their relatives to break the law by helping them to hide from the judges. Unfortunately, when the virus reaches its final stages, the sufferer undergoes a total physical and mental transformation into a giant spider-like creature, making it difficult for them to avoid the judge's attention. Oh, that's a fucking horrible disease, isn't it? Imagine having that. Spider disease. Turning into a massive spider. As if anyone needs that. God. I hope you're learning a few things about the Judge Dredd world. Some creepy shit goes on there, you know. It's got some lore behind it. The arachnid gene virus. Here we are. He's a Brit City judge. This guy is one of the Brit City judges, Detective Judge Armitage. He looks like Jason Statham, doesn't he? Or someone like that. They should get someone like that to play him. Tom Hardy. Armitage. Let's have a look at him then. Let's read about Armitage for you. Armitage with rookie judge Treasure Still to his right. To his right, that's Treasure Still. She's a rookie judge. And that's obviously Dredd there. You can tell by the chin. Despite the fact that almost everyone in the Brit City Justice Department hates him, they still have to admit that Armitage is by far the best plainclothes detective judge they've got. Little is publicly known about him, not even his real name. And he never carries a gun, yet Armitage's knowledge of weapons is extensive, mainly due to his activities during the Brit City Civil War in 2092 to 99, when he fought on the losing side. After the war, Armitage joined up as a judge, but he became cynical and morose when his lover, Leora, was killed by the crime lord Eiffel Drago. Eiffel Drago San. In revenge for the detective judge's crippling him, Armitage soon acquired a reputation for being impossible to work with and having no respect whatsoever for authority. But he was an understanding judge and brought tremendous investigative abilities to the Brit City Justice Department's plainclothes homicide division. When rookie judge Treasure Still was assigned to Armitage for a year-long assessment, they didn't get on at all, but they developed a grudging respect for each other, and Steele has become one of his closest friends and allies. So probably because she's black, he didn't like her to start with, but then she earned his respect. Probably didn't trust her. It happens a lot. Arnold Stodgman. We're going to Arnold Stodgman next, right? I said, give me the pie. Look, that's him there, Arnold Stodgeman. I said, give me the pie. Look at him, he's like a fat man. That's like an Ethan rip-off, isn't it? Give me the pie. Right. Arnold Stodgeman. Times were tough for fatties like Arnold Stodgeman in the Mega City One. After the Apocalypse War, with all the food shortages being a major problem, he was rounded up along with everyone else, weighing over 300 kilos, and put into a special segregation block on a forced diet. Arnold's great achievement was that he managed to put on weight in the block, somehow eating his way from 983 to 986 kilos, despite the block's strict regime. And this attracted Charlie Bruno to him. Charlie was a trainer of heavyweight eaters and broke him out of the segregation block so he could compete in the World Heavyweight Eating Championships. Arnold duly won the contest, and eating more than a ton of food, a new world record, but the effort killed him. So he had pigged his last. Oh, that's a sad tale, isn't it? He was so fat, he ate over a ton of food and died. Judge Kwame Asenge, right? Here's an African judge for you. Judge Kwame Asenge. There he is below, look. Judge Kwame Asenge. There he is below. He's got like little what do they call them? Shitlocks. Cornrows, innit? Cornrows. Right. Kwame Asenge. Following the credit wars of the late 21st century and the nuclear conflict which devastated the continent, Africa is slowly being put back together. But the presence of dozens of widely differing governments and philosophies has made the process very difficult indeed. The Pan-African Compromise pledged free trade and passage between most of the regions and created a Pan-African judge force to prevent crimes all over the continent. Kwame Asenge is the experienced leader of one of the many judge squads which patrol the dangerous African terrain, hunting down ivory poachers and trying to maintain law and order in general. His squad has unusually diverse spread of cultures, beliefs and nationalities, which gives them an edge in many situations, something they often need desperately, since many of the Pan-African states still refuse to recognise the judge's authority. Right, so a lot of the Afros don't even want judges. They're like, no, we're happy being pirates. Right. The Atlantic Division, ladies and gentlemen, the Atlantic Division. They are Mega City One Justice Department, another division of them. Charged with the responsibility of patrolling the heavily polluted waters of the Black Atlantic. The Mega City One Judges Atlantic Division have what is potentially the dirtiest job in the Justice Department. They have justification over all the vessels operating in Mega City One waters, and they are also responsible for the policing of the incredible Atlantic Tunnel link with Brit City. Right, in Judge Dredd, in their world, we've got a tunnel that drives right under the Atlantic, goes from England right to America. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? That'd be fucking cool, that would. Which is highly vulnerable to any form of terrorist attack. In fact, they do this in conjunction with their fellow judges from Brit City. And each force is normally responsible for safeguarding their half of the tunnel against any possible catastrophe. That's very interesting. In the Judge Dredd universe, we're even closer allies. We've got a tunnel going under us. Look. I hope you're finding this interesting, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from all around the world. This is me giving you a little insight into Judge Dredd. As I said, one of my favourite all-time comic books is it's very unique, I think. I don't think there's anything like Dredd. We're an hour in, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching. I have got my super chat goal as well. If you're interested, 5 super chats, and I will be reviewing A Table for One by Mr. Bosch Falstein. Right. Next up, we got Banana City. Sounds about. We're in the bees. We broke the bees, ladies and gentlemen. Banana City. Ciudad Barranquilla, better known as Banana City, is one of the poorest and most corrupt cities in the world. Run by an elite and often brutal judge force who live in luxurious conditions whilst their people starve, Banana City is a tough place to live unless you are lucky enough to be very rich. Most of the city's wealth and property is in the hands of a powerful criminal class and the judges themselves, who have profited from the growth of crime through an institutionalized system of bribery and corruption. Under banana law, it is actually possible to buy years off your sentence at a special appeal session with the city's judge, Supremo, if you have enough credits to offer. Money is called credits in Judge Dredd's world. Well, the chat is disconnected. My chat is disconnected. I think that happens now and again. I'm going to have to put it back on live. Let's see if it kicks in again. Something weird going up with the chat. I might not see your messages for a while, as it says trying to reconnect. Next up, we got Barney, right? He is the Mega City computer. Barney, he's like their AI, basically. Something weird going up with the chat, ladies and gentlemen. It's just flashing, saying that the chat is not connected. Sorry if you're messaging and I cannot see it. The last message I can see is from Hansel Hauser. Very strange indeed. I'll just check it on my phone a minute to make sure it is still working. Right, yeah, it's not coming up on my computer. Right, not coming up on my computer, but we are still live. Judge Dredd is kind of like, yeah, right. Well, hopefully the chat will kick in again in a bit. Right. Next up, we got Barney, right? The intelligence, the intelligence computer. All non-Justice Department matters are recorded and controlled by Barney, Mega City One's mainframe computer. He has been programmed to be extremely user-friendly and with a cheerful and generous personality to boot. But on one occasion, his kindness became a problem. He declined an early Christmas in Des O'Connor block and offered everyone exactly what they wanted as a gift. However, impossible it might be to deliver in reality. Utter chaos ensued, and as usual, the judges had to pick up the pieces where the citizens were disappointed by his false promises. Realizing the error of his ways, Barney shut himself down in preparation for some major repairs. So he's a swag computer that works for the city. What's going on with the chat? It's not plausible. Going weird. Going all weird on me. I just see if anything happens, if I can get a better link on my Very strange. Very strange. Yeah, apologies. I cannot see the chat very well. Something's going weird on my computer. I can look on here. Basilisk. Johnny, hello, Liam. How you doing, mate? I've only just noticed your message because I can see it on here. I can't see it on my computer on the screen. It's flashing saying unable to connect. Yeah, how you doing, Liam? We're going through Judge Dredd. We're going through the book, the compendium, the A to Z of Judge Dredd by Mike Butcher, and we just got into the B's so far. So I'm going to be going quite a while. It might even be in 2 or 3 parts, but we'll try. Baskin Soggies, right? Baskin Soggies. Mutated fish, these are. Unique to the waters around the Emerald Isle, Baskin Soggies are rather large talking fish, mutated by the radiation of the atomic wars in 2070. These creatures are not actually intelligent, but being attuned to human radio waves, they are remarkable mimics and often sing songs for the amusement of visitors to the isle. Unfortunately, for the trusting and plentiful soggies, they also make a pretty tasty fish finger. The soggies, strange little fish. It sounds Australian, doesn't it? I can imagine them having fish called soggies. I'm going to go out and catch myself a soggy. I'm going to go down to the creek and catch myself a soggy, mate. Yeah. You'll be sleeping soon. Judge Dredd rules. Hello, Grim Jim. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, thanks, Liam, mate. I appreciate it. Did you like my Australian impression? I'm going to go get a soggy, mate. Oh, yeah, give me a Foster's as well. Yeah, sometimes I can do it good. Judge Supremo Batista, right? He's that dodgy one, isn't he? The top banana. He's the dodgy judge in Banana City. The top banana in Ciudad Barranquilla. Judge Supremo Batista is an extremely wealthy man. He makes no apology for the corrupt Justice Department he presides over his position that has enabled him to become Banana City's biggest landlord. Batista owns about half the city's slums properties, charging extortionate rates to his unfortunate tenants. Anyone not paying up on time is liable to receive a judicial visit, with anything from a one-off demonstration of judicial violence to a 5-year stretch in the cubes. The cubes, right? Cubes are in Judge Dredd's world, they're isolation cubes. It's like a prison cell, right? You're not put in like joint prison cells, you're in an ISO cube, right? Cubes are the deterrent against missing another payment. Needless to say, most of the tenants pay up on time. The Battle of Armageddon. Battle of Armageddon, right? Final showdown with the Legion of the Damned in Death Valley. In the wake of the short-lived atomic wars, a civil war between the judges of Mega City and the deposed president's robotic army raged across the country. Even though Robert L. Booth had been sentenced to 100 years in suspended animation, his presidential guard was programmed to fight on, and in their struggle culminated in the last stand in Death Valley in 2071, which came to be known as the Battle of Armageddon. More than 100,000 judges and mega troopers were killed. Mega troopers, ladies and gentlemen, are like lesser judges. They're the bog standard red shirt, as you'd call them, basically in Star Trek. Red, like the ones that get killed. You know what I mean. The goons, they're the goons, right? Were killed in the final conflict. But the so-called Legion of the Damned was finally defeated and ceased to be a major threat to the three megacities. Next up, we got a character called. What have we got? Let me just check the chat. I have to do it on my phone, remember? Put another stogie on the Barbie. Soggy. Yeah, put another soggy on the Barbie. Yeah, it's a lot of slums, isn't it, to own? He was the real slumlord, definitely. A lot of slums to own, that is. Put another soggy on the Barbie. Right, next up, we got a character called Bella Bagley. Bella Bagley, right. Let's get into Bella. When Judge Dredd rescued Bella Bagley from a couple of muggers, he had no idea that she would fall in love with him. She became obsessed with him and wrote him dozens of love letters without receiving a single reply. Finally, she arranged to meet him under false pretenses and declared her love for him, only for Dredd to arrest her for wasting a judge's time. That's what Judge Dredd's like. That's a law, wasting a judge's time. That's breaking the law. Bella then attempted suicide, and Dredd was forced to rescue her for a second time, only to pack her off to a psycho cube for treatment. 6 years later, she contacted Dredd again, claiming to be having his baby. When she took a number of hostages, Dredd had no choice but to swear his undying love for her before headbutting her into unconsciousness. Ow, that must have hurt with his helmet. He headbutted her into unconsciousness. Not very gentlemanly, Dredd. I suppose he ain't, is he? Bloody hell. Headbutting her. If it was Sylvester Stallone's head, that'd come in pretty hard, wouldn't it? Right, next up, we got Bennett Beanie. He was mentioned earlier, remember? He was the one who took the body of his dead friend. Bennett Beanie's parents died when he was young. So when growing up, he became attached to a girl called America Jara. He's mates with the Antifa bird, remember? The Antifa bird from Mega City. America Jara. He loved her, but she saw him more as a brother. She friend zoned him Friends owned him, look, see? He's probably a nutter because of that. But she saw him as a brother, and as they got older, they grew apart. He became a popular recording artist. Meanwhile, America was getting involved with the democratic movement in Mega City 1. Barely a day went by when Bennett didn't think about her. Gay. One night, in a sleazier part of the city, he witnessed America Jara's involvement in the murder of a judge. The man she was with shot Bennett in the throat to prevent him from identifying either of them. He survived, but his singing career was over. Being rich, he was soon fixed up with an artificial voice box, but he knew that his voice could never be the same again. He'd sound like Stephen Hawkins if he tried singing. Sometimes after, America turned up at his house to see that he was all right, asking him for money to buy explosives to blow up the Statue of Liberty. Fucking hell, that's not too much of an ask, is it? All right, I know my mate shot you in the throat. I'll just come to see how you are and to see if you can lend me money to buy explosives to blow up the Statue of Liberty. Yeah, right. He could not refuse. Well, you simp. He could not refuse, but decided to tell the judges. He made them promise not to hurt anyone, but they lied, and America was killed. Bennett arranged to have her body kept alive and have his brain transplanted into her body. The singer resumed his career, but where he had always specialized in comedy songs, now he could only sing sad ones. That's creepy. What a creepy turn of events, eh? Very creepy turn of events. Thank you for tuning in so far, ladies and gentlemen, and anyone who's going to be watching this back as well. It's quite a long one, so buckle up, get comfy. I do understand if you've got places to go. I didn't expect it to be quick. I am trying to look at the chat as well, ladies and gentlemen. I'm doing it on my phone, look, right here. You can see it. You can see it live here, look. I'm doing it as we're going. Alright? Because the chat on my phone, on my computer, as I said, is it's not working properly for some reason. Right. So that was Bennett Beanie. What a silly name, eh? Bennett Beanie. If anything, you should call him Beanie Bennett, shouldn't you? Bennett's more like a second name. How's everyone doing tonight? I'll take a minute just to have a little chat with you, just to say hello. I know this is a different angle than you're used to. I am here, though. I am here. Hello. I am here. I'm just, I thought it'd be better like this so I could show you a bit more artwork and stuff. You're not like, it's not all about me, is it? Right, ladies and gentlemen. Next up. Oh, that looks a bit like Ziggy Stardust, like David Bowie. Look. We got Bert Dubinsky. Bert Dubinsky, right? The man with the dubious honour of being the first ever perp arrested by Judge Dredd during the lawman's final street assessment as a rookie, alongside Judge Murphy. Bert Dubinsky
did a 35 stretch in the ISO cubes when his uncontrollable anger saw him commit a double murder. When he finally got out, Bert went to see Dredd, believing there was some kind of bond between them. But the judge made it clear that he had no time for the killer. Outraged by this snub, Bert Dubinsky's temper got the better of him once again, and he made a mistake of trying to shoot Judge Dredd. This time, Bert was spared a further stretching the ISO cubes, and he had to settle for a bullet in the head. Oh, what an ending. They're very blunt, aren't they? They put it very bluntly. Right, next up we got Beth and Rosie, the one that looks like David Bowie. Beth and Rosie, civil rights activist, right? So she's probably mates with like that America Antifa woman. Leader of the Committee for the Restoration of Civil Liberties. Beth and Rosie was prevented from joining the Democratic Charter March when the judges levelled trumped-up charges against her, accusing her of bigamy. The charges were spurious, based on a ridiculous technicality, but her reputation was damaged beyond repair, and she had to withdraw from public life. Oh. Side Judge Onion Baji next. Side Judge Baji, nickname Onion. Right. One of Delhi City. Delhi City, that's India. That's like Indian mega city. One of Delhi City's most powerful side judges, Baji, came to Mega City 1 on a cultural visit at a particularly bad time, since it coincided with the former Judge Grice's devastating attack on the city with a killer virus. As soon as he arrived, the Delhi City judge experienced a very bad psychic dream, warning him that something very bad was about to happen and that Judge Dredd would be the man left to pick up the pieces. His prediction proved uncannily accurate, as the judges lost control of their city, ex-Judge Grace, and Baji had to join the fight to recapture Mega City 1 from his renegade group. The visiting judge worked well with side Judge Janus during the struggle, and their combined efforts helped save the city from the virus and contributed to the ultimate defeat of Grice. Well, this world, ladies and gentlemen, the Judge Dredd world is as I've actually got some Judge Dredd emojis look as well for you lucky members out there. I put them in the chat. Yeah, the Judge Dredd world is so original, ladies and gentlemen. If you like sci-fi, if you like fantasy, if you just like comics, I mean, you won't find anything like Judge Dredd. It's totally original. It's like you'll be hard pushed to find something similar. We've got one more left on this page. Big Smelly, as you can see there, look. Big Smelly. Big Smelly, Mega City 1. Undercity is an undercity, right? This is like the sewer city. Kingdom of the Jews. Before the building of Mega City 1, much of the eastern seaboard had become horribly polluted. So the new city was simply built on top of it. The Ohio River had suffered badly from the problem, becoming so full of toxic material it became known as the Big Smelly. With the construction of the first megacity, the Ohio River was covered up too, and now runs through the undercity below, as badly polluted as ever. Bill Bailey blocks city defense. Oh, he's defense unit, city defense unit. A nuclear bunker. Oh.
What's this? This sounds interesting. Bill Bailey, Block City Death. Let me just check the chat a minute. It's important to know these things for law. Oh, I like Bill Bailey. I have the same coat as him. Bill Bailey, yeah, he's a comedian over here in England. Bill Bailey, let's read about him then. Having taken refuge in a well-fortified nuclear bunker at the height of the Apocalypse War, the last surviving members of the Bill Bailey Block City Death Unit didn't emerge for 9 long years. Their city block had been razed to the ground during the fight, and it was obvious that the Soviet forces would be triumphant, so they felt justified in their strategic withdrawal. When they did finally leave their shelter, they knew the Soviets would be in charge, and they were determined to fight a guerrilla war against the enemy, and if necessary, to sell their lives. If to sell their lives very dearly needed. Indeed, they were unaware that Mega City 1 had won the war. After all that, the appearance of normalcy all around them with not East Meg decrepit. So they began a terrorist campaign in earnest. This soon brought them into conflict with the Mega City 1 judges, and despite repeated attempts by Judge Dredd to convince them of their mistake, the Bill Bailey Block City Defence members refused to surrender, as they saw it as collaborators with the Soviets. Hence, misguided city. They're just a weird group. Bingholism. Gambling. Scientists in the 22nd century have masterminded the colonization of distant planets and sent probes through the heart of the sun, but they still cannot find a cure for bingo. The compulsion to play the game felt most acutely by the elderly, and there are plenty of criminals willing to set up illegal bingo halls to cash in on the tragic problem of bingoholism in Mega City. Oh, there's like an addiction called bingoholism. Biochip. Personality chips. Banned in Mega City 1, biochips allow their users to live forever, or at least until the money runs out. At the moment of death, a person's personality is programmed into the chip, back into the biochip, which can then be inserted and prepared in a prepared socket in a hired body. The technology can result in pretty anarchic, unstable society, as demonstrated by Lesa Liengo, one of the few planets where the use of biochips is legal, and most people on the planet biochips. That sounds pretty gross and creepy to me. Biochips. It's sort of like our Prime Minister wants to do that with us. Next up, we got Birdie, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, hello, David. Thank you for tuning in. For those of you that are just tuning in, we are going through the Judge Dredd world, the A to Z of Judge Dredd by Mike Butcher. And it's got every little thing in here, everything.
some obscure things, some things that you think, why'd they even put that in? Next up, we got Birdie, right? This is the lie detector. It's a device. One of the most useful items in a judge's kit. This handheld device can detect the slightest voice fluctuation while monitoring a suspect's heartbeat, respiratory functions, and even brain electricity. Combining all these elements in its miniaturized and highly sophisticated computer brain, it becomes a near infallible lie detector. A simple readout then ensures a little birdie can tell the judge instantly if the perp is lying to them. The lawman is then able to employ other means to discover the truth, basically beating them up until they tell you. That's what judges do, most of them. Bishop Snodgrass. Bishop Snodgrass. I must admit I'm a Judge Dredd fan and I've not heard of him. Not that I can remember. When video channels are looking for non-controversial spokesmen from the church to appear on one of their talk shows, Desmond Snodgrass is unusually top of their list. Is usually on top of their list, completely unflappable. The bishop was at Channel 48 during the famous hijack of the station by the Democratic tendency. On the strength of this, he was asked to appear on the show covering the big Democratic referendum. Almost 6 years later, despite the fact that he had no idea whatsoever what the election was about. Fucking hell. You lot are very lucky tonight. I'm literally going through this whole book with you. It's like you're getting the book for free with a beautiful voice narrating it to you as well. It's a bonus. Thank you for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen, those of you that are watching. I have set a goal tonight. If I can get 5 super chats, I will review Mr. Bosch Fulstein's Table for One. That will be an in-depth review of this beautiful comic book. Probably, well, I say comic book. It's more of a graphic novel, I guess. Well, a long comic book. It's got a lot of pages, a lot of bang for your buck, right? And I'll be reviewing that if I can make my super chat goal. It's another interesting thing for you. Right. Next up. Oh, fucking hell. Thank you. Travis Perrick just sent in a super chat. Thank you very much, Travis. Oh, shit. I accidentally deleted your super. Oh, that's a fucking. I liked it and then deleted it. What a dickhead. Oh, well, I've seen it anyway, all right? I've seen it. I didn't do that on purpose. It's because I'm doing it on my phone. Sorry, Travis. Thank you. Thank you very much. You seen that then, didn't you? I went to touch it and it deleted it. Fucking hate doing shit on my phone. It's all fiddly and I've got fat fingers. You ever read the comic The Darkness? I'm not sure I have. Not sure I have. Yeah, thank you though, Travis. I'm sure it doesn't take that away. No, I haven't read The Darkness. Not that I can recall, unless I'm thinking of something else. Right. Bite fighting. We're going to be reading about next, all right? This is an underground sport in Mega City 1. And there's a little clip of it, a little bit of art about it, right? You can tell what it's going to be already, can't you? Bite fighting. One of the most barbaric entertainments in Mega City 1. involves two burly fighters being pitched into the bite pit, where their arms are tied behind their backs, ready to bite each other into submission. Bite fighting is strictly illegal, but it remains a popular sport. Although individual fighters are usually quite easy to spot, since they generally have their teeth filed down to sharp points for extra efficient chomping in a fight, naturally they are also covered in bite marks all over their bodies. Fucking hell. Bite fighting. Grey Cloud, how you doing, brother? If you missed it, Travis Perrick sent in a super chat, but I accidentally deleted it in the messaging. Thanks for coming back, Grey Cloud. It's about a mafia assassin who gets possessed by an ancient demon. It's really well done, dark and gritty. Sounds good. Sounds really good, actually. Black Atlantic, that's the Atlantic Ocean. It's the future, so it's gone all shitty, isn't it? As pollution became an increasingly more alarming problem worldwide during the 21st century, vast waterways, oceans, and as well as rivers were filled with all manner of toxic materials. The Atlantic Ocean was soon redubbed the Black Atlantic, since it had become so filthy that this was fairly accurate description of the colour. Certainly exposure to its waters became likely to prove lethal to any human unfortunate enough to take a swim in it. Giant anti-pollution ships patrol the ocean, but their cause is a lost one, since the waters of the Black Atlantic are generally believed to be beyond redemption. That's quite nasty, isn't it? Gross. The Black Plague. This is a mutant spider's cursed earth. Having been mutated by radiation, these giant spiders were both poisonous and carnivorous and roamed the cursed earth in the massive swarm in search of food. One bite from them would knock you cold, whilst the second bite would finish you off. When the Black Plague threatened the town of Anton Gulch, a local resident sought help from Mega City 1 to beat them off. Judge Dredd helped to protect the town with a wall of fire and made it so hard for the spiders to overrun the place that they decided to look for easier pickings in the big city. Again, fire was the key weapon against the mutant spiders, as the judge bombarded them with tremendously powerful incendiary shells. This time, though, the creatures sheltered underground, and most of them survived to climb the city walls and invade Mega City 1's streets. In very quick time, the Black Plague had overrun the entire sector of the city. The creatures were delighted with their opportunity to feast on the Mega City 1 citizens, and Judge Dredd was forced to give the order to burn the whole area down. Unable to burrow into solid concrete, the spiders were duly exterminated as a result of the extremely drastic maneuver. Oh. The Black Museum is the last one on this page, ladies and gentlemen. The Black Museum. Thank you for tuning in so far. Ladies and gentlemen, we've had one super chat from Mr. Travis Perry. For the goal of reviewing Mr. Bosch Fulstein's Table for One. This one is the Black Museum. It's in the Grand Hall of Justice in Mega City 1. Whereas the Hall of Heroes honours Mega City 1's finest judges and most worthy citizens, the Black Museum is a macabre reminder of the city's darkest hours and its most dangerous enemies. the likes of Judge Death, Captain Skank, War Marshal Kazan, and Sabat are all remembered here, and relics pertaining to such menaces are exhibited. So that's the Black Museum, like all the crime museum, I guess. The crime museum. We got a lot of B's to get through, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go for a little bit longer, and we're going to have to split this series into, this show into a few series. So I'm going to go for another hour or so, all right? Johnny Fives, yeah, oh, thank you. Fucking hell. Thanks, Basilisk. Sent 5 Jonny Scab memberships. We've had a super chat from Travis Perrick and 5 Jonny Scab memberships. We got Travis Perrick, Ray Clark, Mr. V. Yeah, I apologise. Mr. V, he was in the chat the other day and I forgot who he was because he hadn't been on for so long. Look at you. Oh, you lucky lot getting your memberships. Brilliant. Thank you, Ed. Right. Yeah, I'll go on for as long as I can. I don't want to bore you all. Thank you for tuning in so far. Quick break a minute. I've been talking a long time. Some brilliant artwork again. It's not as good as, like, obviously you got the annuals like I was talking about. The annuals are basically the proper comics, just hardbacks, kind of, and they got some brilliant artwork in them. See, coloured Judge Dredd artwork, so vibrant. Is very vibrant. You got a few maps in there. Look, of the different zones of Mega City. Black and white stories, back into colour. Yeah, there's a lot of effort put into Judge Dredd comic books, and there have been different artists over the years. Wolf and Bear, how you doing? Dark Mind of Hell. We got everyone. We got some good people here tonight. Right, next up we got the Blobs. The Blobs. In the quest for the completely Cyclops, Pete Runcie came up with the idea of promoting the blob look, where people had face change surgery to remove all distinguishing features. By making this the height of fashion, he was able to send out his henchmen in blob guise to pull off crimes, and then they could simply blend into the crowd, avoid detection by the judges. Runcie's tactics were effective for a while, but then the judges passed a new law which required blobs to carry an indelible serial number on their forehead. And the real criminals were quickly... Oh, that's not very nice, is it? The blobs. Creepy. The blobs. Blitz agencies. Contract killers in Mega City 1. The Blitzers in Mega City 1 have a strict code of honour. Once a contract has been taken out on someone's life, it cannot be cancelled, whatever the circumstances. Also, for the protection of the Blitz agency, all their professional hitmen must consent to having a suicide box fitted into their bodies before he is accepted as a blitzer. This box is sensitive to emotional changes and prevents the blitzer from surrendering to the judges by blowing him up, thereby preventing compromising information about the agency being passed on at the same time. That's creepy, isn't it? A suicide box. Suicide boxes. Just so they can destroy you. You can destroy yourself. Block mania. A block war outbreak. Massive. Although block wars are common enough in Megacity 1, when 3/4 of the city started fighting each other, the judges knew there must be some outside force inspiring the violence. Indeed, the madness which came to be known as block mania was caused by a Soviet drug which had been put into Megacity 1's water supply by Orlok, the East Meg 1 assassin. As the Western judges were about to find out, block mania was just a prelude to the Apocalypse War, as the Soviets began their nuclear assault on a weakened Megacity 1. Bloody Soviets get everywhere, don't they? Block war, later block war, inner block war. In an overcrowded city like Megacity 1, tensions and rivalry between neighbouring city blocks are inevitable, and very occasionally these feelings spill out into full-scale wars, because each city block is an independent unit in its own right. A sense of patriotism is often attached to them by their residents, and wars can break out with enemy blocks over the most trivial matters. For the judges, a block war is one of the toughest situations to police, simply because there are usually so many people involved, and arrests generally have to be made in vast numbers before things can properly be cooled down and peace be restored. Block wars, ladies and gentlemen. Sounds very like the world we're living in, doesn't it? A lot of the time. It's quite similar. We've got 15 people watching now, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in tonight. You are listening to me talking about the A to Z of Judge Dredd, learning all about the law, the people, the creatures, the equipment, everything you can think of, the history, the events. Thank you for tuning in so far. We've done all right. We are on page 21. We're just going into page 22 now. Wow. We got through some good things so far. Some good informative things. I've even got my Mail-in Mysteries magnifying glass out, look, just in case I need it. My John Mail-in tribute. Next up, we got Blondell Dupree. Blondell Dupree. I'm guessing that's them, yeah. Blondell Dupree. Let's have a read. They got quite a big books. A leader of the democratic urge, Blondell Dupree was a central figure in the formation of the Democratic Charter Group, which unified the various democratic pressure groups in Megacity 1. She went on to play a major part in organising the ill-fated Democratic Charter March in 2109, and thanks to the machinations of the Justice Department, Dupree was the only leader allowed to participate in it. When the march was broken up by the judges, she was arrested along with thousands of others and set up a scapegoat for the violence she was caught in the middle of. Sent to the ISO cubes for breach of the peace and assault, Dupree remained defiant, still convinced that democracy would eventually win the day. No one was more surprised than Blondell Dupree, however, when Judge Dredd, who was having severe doubts about the judges' handling of the march, ordered the release of all the remaining Democrats still doing time. Sometime later, following the horrors of the necropolis, she was even more astonished when the judges announced the referendum to be held on the issue of democracy in Megacity 1. Suddenly, Blondell Dupree was thrust once more into the political limelight, but this time it seemed she would be triumphant. As a leading exponent of democracy, she put her case against Dredd's assertion that the citizens should stick with the devil you know. The judges were fully expected to lose the vote, but they actually won by a landslide, and Dupree was forced to concede and her defeat as a fair one, rather than risk a violent reaction from her followers who believed the ballot had been rigged. Despite her disappointment with the result, the Democratic leader was convinced that Judge Dredd was a man of his honour and that the referendum reflected the genuine views of the people. Yeah, Judge Dredd is a man of honour. Fucking hell, who's this now? Travis Perrick, another one. Love this dreadlaw. Thank you, Travis. That's two super chats. Fucking thank you. Thank you a lot. Basilisk. Received. Just checking, just catching up. Trying to keep up with your chats. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'll keep going for you then if you're loving this dreadlaw, because it is interesting as well. I'm learning a lot. I thought I was a super fan. Well, I am, but there's always some things you don't learn, isn't there? Little things that surprise you. Glad I can keep you entertained. It's just something to listen to, isn't it, in the background now and again. It's not much to watch, I'll show you a few pictures. There's Blondell Dupree, the one we were talking about just now. Try and get up close now. Blondell Dupree. Right, next we're on to Bob Nicely. Bob Nicely. An illegal game show host is Bob Nicely. The game show You Bet Your Life may well have been popular back in 20th century America, but the Megacity 1 version introduced a whole new meaning to the title. Bob Nicely was the smiling host of the show, broadcast illegally on a pirate TV station, and his job was to get the contestants to quite literally bet their own life or the lives of other members of their families against their ability to answer a question, which made it worse for his victims or contestants. Was that Bob's questions and games were loaded against them, making it virtually impossible for them to win. As a result, the show had few survivors. Though its supply of plainly very stupid contestants was plentiful, Bob himself, as well as his wife and co-host, Morticia Nicely, also failed to survive the show in the end, as their studio was finally tracked down by Judge Dredd, and the smiling duo were killed in the result of the judge's efforts to ensure that at least one gullible contestant might live to answer questions another day. Bob Nicely sounds horrible. Fucking hell, Travis, you're on a roll tonight, brother. Got to get back to work. Thank you, Travis. Thank you, everyone. And thank you for the memberships, Basilisk. Fucking hell, I'm very blessed to have such amazing fans. Bob nicely, that was, ladies and gentlemen. You can imagine him, can't you? I'd like to see the artwork of him. He'd be good, wouldn't he? Like a creepy game show host. I can imagine that in like a Fallout context as well. The creepy end of the world game shows where things are a bit dodgy, like Hunger Games. Oh. That's better. Oh, fucking hell. Travis Parrott's becoming my biggest fan. Fucking hell, another one. Good God. I better start making my review, ain't I? Already. Close enough. Right. Where were we? We're on to another Bob now. Bob Weasel. Bob Weasel. Let's read about Bob Weasel. The rather obscure people's philosopher, Bob Weasel, came up with a few pertinent observations on life that have particular relevance to life in the 22nd century in Mega City. Most notable among his sayings was Bob's Law. All it takes is one person to do something stupid and all the rest are sure to join in. That's Bob's Law. When Mega City 1's boundaries were drastically rearranged following the devastation of the Apocalypse War of 2076, Bob's Law certainly held as the citizens went berserk rather than accept the new classifications. In the end, Chief Judge Magruder was forced to fall back on Bob's second law. If all else fails, bribe them. So that offered every citizen a 100. So he offered every citizen a 100 credit incentive to agree to start calling their sector by its new number. Then brought in a clean air tax. We got that in England, the clean air tax. A one-off payment of 105 credits to cover the cost of the bribe, plus 5 credits for administration. He admirably went on to prove Bob's third law. What the Justice Department gives, it can just what the Justice Department gives, it can just as soon take away again. Bob's third law. Boing, we're on Boing now, ladies and gentlemen, right? And that's miracle rubber, basically a material that exists in Judge Dredd's world. One of the most sensational developments in rubber technology ever. Boing is a spray-on rubber coating that solidifies into a giant ball around the object it's sprayed on. A person can even be turned into a human pinball with it. Turned into a human pinball. Since you can breathe through it, even when you are solidly and safely encased in the rubber coating. When encased in Boing, you're only very limited control over your bouncing. However, so the use of material outside of Mega City 1 is illegal. With 20 years in the cubes, the penalty for improper use of the stuff, special Palais de Boing leisure domes have therefore been built, where Boing may be used safely and legally. A more serious use for Boing has emerged since its invention, and it has been discovered that the material is capable of holding the physical and spirit forms of the Dark Judges from the death dimension. Encased in Boing, they retain their ability to think and transmit their thoughts to a limited degree, but they are otherwise rendered harmless. The dark judges are very, they're like demonic, you see, they can be banished. Oh, fucking hell. Travis, you did it, mate. Thank you very much, mate. That's my goal reached. Travis Perrick just blew it all. He done it all in one go, basically. So I will be reviewing Mr. Brosh Forstein's Table for One. It is official. I can't tell you exactly when. I will do it as soon as possible. Live stream and review it live, or make a video. Either way, we will be reviewing. It looks like Bosch a bit, doesn't it? I wonder if that's like a self-portrait of a young Bosch. I will be reviewing that. Goal achieved. Right. Bonnie Crickle. Ladies and gentlemen, we're just over the 2 hour mark now. Doing well. We've reached